Hello and welcome to another edition of Communication Connection. I'm your host, Terry Likes. On this program, we like to focus on the accomplishments and achievements of faculty, alumni, and in this particular episode, students here at Mississippi State University. We have a junior who's majoring in print and digital journalism, Tanner Marlar, joining us. He is one who has made the most of a lot of opportunities, and he still has a ways to go in his collegiate career. He has appeared on a national sports talk radio program, covered stories for a major sports magazine, has his own radio show, and doing a lot more. So Tanner, thank you so much for joining us. You are certainly making the most of a lot of initiatives here on campus already.
Thank you, Dr. Likes. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be joining you today for Communication Connection. Really looking forward to it.
Well, you have, as we said, made the most of your opportunities, and there are a lot of colleges where you could have gone to around the country. What is it that brought you to Mississippi State?
Well, when I was looking at colleges, it was between Mississippi State, UT Knoxville, and UGA in Athens. And, you know, I toured all three. I'd been to all three. I'd done my research. And, you know, for the position that I was in at that time and the connection I already had to Mississippi State with my dad graduating here in '95, it just made sense. And I haven't looked back. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, we're so glad to hear that. We are reminded that our first and foremost mission here is to serve the students, and we really get excited when we see students like you making the most of your opportunities. But like a lot of college students, and I remember myself back when I was in school, people change majors, trying to find the right niche for them as they look forward to their career, and you're one of those as well. What is it that attracted you to the media?
Well, when I came to Mississippi State initially, I was an international business major. I was doing marketing and Asian studies, which is basically just majoring in Mandarin. And, you know, I'd always enjoyed literature. I'd always enjoyed writing, and I'd always enjoyed sports. So when I realized that I didn't like spreadsheets that much, I figured out, you know, there's a way that I could combine these two and make a decent living doing it and really enjoy it. And so far, it's been the best decision I've made here at Mississippi State.
Well, one of the things we're doing with the Department of Communication with our website is focusing more on alumni, faculty, and student spotlights. And there is a recent spotlight on our website featuring Tanner if you'd like to learn more about him. But we're going to learn a lot more about him here because you have gained experience on campus via the campus radio station, and we'll talk more about that. But first, you also gained experience by working with the historic campus newspaper, The Reflector, and its advisor, Josh Foreman. It's given you great experience and great exposure, hasn't it?
The Reflector has been, again, one of the better decisions I've made here at Mississippi State. The staff is just so welcoming. When I started as, you know, a regular staff writer, excuse me, I really didn't have much experience writing professionally with AP styling and stuff like that. And they were so welcoming, and it was such an encouraging environment. And I took that and ran with it. You know, the Reflector has given me the platform and the opportunity to start my career. And that's, I said yesterday when we went to Jackson, Mississippi for the Mississippi Press Association Awards, that if it wasn't for the Reflector, I wouldn't be able to tell these people's stories. I wouldn't be able to go the places I've been. And I've just been so thankful.
Well, we're reminded that the Reflector, the campus radio station, university television, they are all wonderful resources for students, and they're not just for communication majors. But so you've worked at the campus newspaper. We saw a photo of you with a microphone in front of you. So you've gained experience as well by working at WMSV here on campus and creating your own podcast. That's pretty exciting work.
It's been incredible. It's been exciting. You know, this past summer, I reached out to Mr. Anthony Craven over at 91.1 WMSV, and I approached him about an interest I'd had in starting a Mississippi State just sports podcast here out of the radio station, because the Reflector office and the radio station are right back to back on campus. It just made sense. And come to find out that he already had a sports director at the station, so we could make it a two-man program if we liked. And again, it's just one of those better decisions I've made. My co-host, Cody Blazak, is awesome. We clicked from the moment we met. And he's been one of the best friends I've made in college. And we met through, you know, Mr. Craven and WMSV and hitting the road and going to call Columbus High School football games and coming back to the station every Tuesday and Thursday and just talking about MSU sports.
Well, it's a lot of fun. Certainly exciting to MSU sports gives us a lot to be excited about. So you're able to combine your passion with a career focus. But a lot of students are working in campus media around the country. But there are certain things that you've been able to achieve already that you can't say for a lot of students. One of those is that you've formed a working relationship with Sports Illustrated, one of the premier magazines and online outlets around the country. And tell us about how that came about.
It was really interesting. There was a writer on the Mississippi State beat that ran the Mississippi State Sports Illustrated site. Every SEC school usually has their own dedicated Sports Illustrated site. And he took an opportunity elsewhere, and the job opened up. A lady amazing woman by the name of Chrissy Freud came into that to run that site, and then found out that when she got here, she could really use a hand. And so I reached out and said, "Hey, I've been on the beat now for going on a year. I've already kind of made some connections here. If you'd like me to help you out, I'd be more than willing to." And that's been a great working relationship that I've had with Sports Illustrated. It's given me the chance, like you said, to be published in a very popular, nationally syndicated magazine and online setting, which has been just an amazing experience. And I'm so thankful for all my time so far at Sports Illustrated. I think we're coming up on 1 year there in football season.
Well, that's going to look great on the resume post-graduation for you. And something else that will look outstanding is you have experience with your multimedia background of being a guest on the Paul Finebaum show. And for those who don't know Paul, he is a award-winning, highly respected and very well-known sports talk radio host for ESPN television and radio. Tell us about that experience. That had to be something.
That was amazing. That was great. By far one of the highlights of my student journalism career. Paul and his team reached out to me this last fall as part of their campus back-to-school program they were doing, where they were interviewing student journalists from around the country, and I got picked to be the Mississippi State interview. And then about 2 to 3 weeks later, I got another email and went back on the show with Paul and had just as great of a time as we did the first time. Paul has got an amazing platform, and the fact that he opens that up and is willing to open that up to student journalists who are just trying to make their way in their early career in this field is something special. And he gained a lot of fans that week across the student journalism platform, at least.
So a couple of great opportunities for you, and you've had the chance now to work across a lot of different media platforms, which is part of today's changing and evolving world of media. Is there one that you prefer moving forward?
I have really delved into the radio and broadcast side of things, but I really can't say there's one that I prefer. I think in order to make yourself, in this 21st century of journalism, in this changing field, a proficient example of what, college journalism programs are churning out now, you have to be able to do it all. You have to be able to write. You have to be able to work a camera. You have to be able to be in front of the camera. You have to be able to broadcast your voice. You really have to be a jack of all trades. You have to be good with photography. So I really can't say that there's a single part of it that's my favorite, because you have to be able to do it all, and you have to be able to do it all proficiently. I'm just so thankful that here at MSU, I've been afforded the opportunities to get to work at doing it all, at being able to be that well-rounded product and student and prospect that journalism and communication schools have to churn out these days in the 21st century.
Well, Tanner Marlar is our guest, a junior majoring in print and digital journalism. We've talked about a lot of great experiences, but being a junior, what do you still hope to accomplish between now and graduation? You've got a little time left.
Well, when I started at the Reflector, my goal was expansion. When I got there, all we did was basically a couple features and some game recaps. And that's, they were dealing with a lot of difficulty when it came to COVID. I came in to the position in the latter half of that, so I didn't have to deal with that as much as the previous sports editors did. But keep expanding the Reflector sports section. When I started, we were getting on average, I think 60 clicks per, 60-ish clicks per article, which is not going to cut it for me. I just wanted to be more successful, and we've had articles get over, I think we've combined for more than 10,000 clicks at some point. Just keep growing, keep expanding.
What advice would you have for students coming up the pipeline behind you? You've made a lot of your opportunities happen, so I think that's one of the things we talk about with students, but what advice would you have?
You can't sit and wait on an opportunity. You can't. You have to seek them out, especially in this field. It's becoming, like I said, where the people that can do it all are getting hired and staying in those positions for longer, and there's fewer of those positions available now because we're in this transitional phase here in terms of media coverage and stuff like that. So you have to seek out opportunities. You have to kind of get out and look. You have to dig a little. You have to kind of be a little nosy sometimes. I mean, I always say that's what journalists are. We're just professional nosy people.
Well, you have hopes of graduate school, and you also have hopes for working for a major sports media outlet in the future. Tell us about those hopes and dreams.
Well, I've always wanted to be an author since I started writing, and the program I'm interested in would be a Master's of Fine Arts in nonfiction writing. So to graduate from any of the programs that I've narrowed my list down to, you have to write a book, which would be amazing to me. I look forward to that opportunity. I look forward to the challenge of that. But after that, and after school's done, obviously, like you said, the dream would be to work for a major sports outlet. The actual dream sport for me is actually motorsport. I've always been I'm a mechanic when I'm not in school, actually. My grandfather owned a used car dealership. I've just been a gearhead my entire life. I cover motorsport. I cover NASCAR right now for a publication called Front Stretch. That's a nationwide publication, smaller, but still reaches nationwide. So motorsport and automotive journalism would be the dream goal. But like I said, I've got a long way to go between here and there.
Couple of big stories we've had here on campus, coaching changes in the basketball world. Give us your thoughts, 30 seconds on that. It has to be exciting in covering that kind of turnover.
It is. But, they waited until spring break when I wasn't on campus to make all these changes. So I'm having to call in interviews and stuff like that. But no, I think John Cohen and the athletic department really kind of made these hires in quick order. And I think that speaks to how strong of a candidate and how strong of an argument that these coaches had to be hired. Coach Sam Purcell comes with an amazing track record. Chris Jans comes with an amazing track record and amazing recruiting ties already to the state of Mississippi and the junior college aspect of things. And if you remember, some of the greatest Mississippi State teams of all time have been chock full of JUCO transfers. So anybody that's hooked into that kind of recruiting market and that kind of recruiting avenue, I think has a chance to do really well here at Mississippi State.
Tanner Marlar has been our guest. Tanner, thank you so much for joining us. Great to hear all of your stories and making the most of your opportunities. And we certainly wish you well. We'll keep an eye on your career here at Mississippi State and beyond. I'm Terry Likes. Thank you for watching Communication Connection. We'll see you next time.